All right, all right. It is 11 o'clock. So yeah, we're kicking off. Yeah, behind the scenes, it's been a little bit hectic here. It seems like stuff's happening on all fronts, right, Danilo? Like, how have you found this week?
It's fiery, yes, at every direction. Keeping us busy.
Yeah, it's fun, interesting. Yeah, for sure. Lots of good things. Which is
Exactly. I'd rather
always
be busy than sitting idle.
100% agree. Yeah, it's definitely not. We're definitely not wanting for things to do, which is good. I'm just getting up all of the different pieces of news that, yeah, we've
Yeah, we
been
did have
creating.
news. It was much quieter on the new model release front from last week. So that was good because last week was almost like a fire hose. Everyone releasing new models.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot, but quite interesting in terms of like, um, yeah, I don't know. I like it when there's lots of models, but yeah. um, da, 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 da. Okay, cool. Right. Let's let's get cracking. Present this screen, and let's just do that. Okay. And yeah, okay, cool. So we had a couple of things that we thought were interesting. So I think we could spend quite a bit of time on this piece, right? Which is, what we were talking about, which is the difference between um, how different SaaS businesses are dealing with AI, right? There's a big difference in terms of the approaches that are being taken by two very large SaaS businesses. So first up, we've got Salesforce, who obviously they've had Agentforce for a while. But yeah, I mean, like this kind of makes sense. Like, why should you ever log into Salesforce again? One of the co-founders are kind of like, I think they're basically saying, right, we kind of need to cannibalize ourselves to reinvent ourselves, which I think is super interesting. Like,
Yeah, I mean they're going embracing, I guess, the disruption by launching this headless 360. They're talking about building more MCP around their tools and making things a lot more agent and AI friendly to use the things that they already have, which is definitely one of the postures and is one of the arguments, I guess, for people that are trying to say like, why do I pay all of these SaaS licenses if my agents can do the work now? But like this was not this week's news. I think is one that we probably missed from last week because I think this is from 15th of April. But this week there was another one that was maybe not as spoken. I share with you the link. Like it's actually the policy update from SAP. And
yeah,
if you read between some of, it's not very long, but if you read like there's a quote somewhere here about they're changing their API policy, and if you scroll down, I might be able to find it, and then we can verbatim. Yeah, like 2.2.2. SAP prohibits API use for interaction or integration with semi-autonomous or generative AI systems that plan, select, or execute sequences of API calls, and then be scraping, harvesting, or systematic or large-scale data extraction or replication. So they're basically saying not allowed. And if you read the reasons, I don't know if they did a press release around this as well, but they're talking about like it's from a security and like making sure we can offer the right capacity and keep the SLAs for our services. I think like it's a completely opposite stance here, right? It's like we're going to try to block access to our things unless it's been approved by us or being built by us. And then Salesforce taking a bit more on the other one of embracing and saying like, actually, there's going to be a version of our products that offer AI native access to some of the tools. I didn't read all this, the fine prints. Like I don't know the Salesforce how much if they have similar clauses of what's allowed, what's not allowed. But at least from a high level, how the announcement is being positioned and like the posture, I guess, of each company, it does look quite different. And I'm curious because both of them are quite big, like whatever they, nobody's gonna switch off from this week to next week, either of those, if they're big customers of either SAP or Salesforce. So they're quite entrenched. I guess the proof is going to be in the pudding. What happens within a year, a couple of years time, like how things might have shifted. We're not going to see the impact immediately.
I mean, it's this consistent thing, right? I had posters today around this stuff, where it's just like, you know, like if you are just a sort of database with a, you know, with some logic, but like really like a lot of it's just exposing these primitives and then being composed together. Like, are you doing very much? I don't know. Can you charge enough for that? Like, does this cannibalize their whole pricing piece? But then vice versa, like, I mean, if I was like, right, I'm midway through, you know, me and the board have discussed our agentic transformation, you know, now I think SAP is going to be basically on my, you know, no-fly list, because like I'm like, right, well, like, just, you know, okay, cool. Like,
but historically, they've done that before. It's not like the first time they take that stance, and they're still quite big, right? Like if you look at even like existing APIs or accessing data inside SAP, it's really hard to like do things that take the data out. That they have been movement in that space. Like if you look historically, like they have their own, I forgot what they call, like the business BW cloud or something like that, which is like their version of data platform. And then was it last year? Probably like about a year ago, they announced a partnership with Databricks, announcing like, oh, you can actually have Databricks accessing SAP data inside BW, and you can run like some of the AI workloads with the Databricks integration. The way that works is actually like, it's not the Databricks that you get if you're just a Databricks customer directly or like through Azure or something like that. It's a specific version of Databricks that would run either inside or very close to SAP, and you have some limited feature set. Is not a full platform, but it's kind of like branded, and it's the Databricks runtime. But yeah, they've done that, and they had to like revisit their stance, I guess. So that already happened from data. And this data debate about like, yeah, my ERP system has all the core data from to run my business, but like if it's hard for me to extract and do stuff with it, then you're kind of like a bit hostage in a way, right? You have to use the tools that are either approved or offered by this single vendor. I think they're taking a similar protective approach now with the API surface, given agents and all the stuff that people are trying to do. They've got a lot of lawyers, and they've got a lot of enterprise contracts of multi-year things. That's why I'm saying like, well, but it's then there's a change, people... but like how it's gonna trickle down and like how people are gonna react. Like it's gonna take some time for us to see the implication. Like how many more people are gonna start migrating off of it more explicitly now. That's not an easy decision, right? Like if you run SAP, a large organization, it's not easy to rip that out or replace it.
No, I agree. I think it's going to be really interesting to see sort of how it ends up playing out. I'm not sure either of them is a, like, I think they are the two strategies, but I'm not sure either of them gets a great outcome. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in both instances, that kind of model that's existed kind of is broken, or you're like feeling like there's like one thing I will say around like there's a difference in the type of data that these platforms store.
Yeah.
So Salesforce is incredibly important for getting cash into the business, but SAP is you know, you don't want non-deterministic ERP and, you know, payroll and like
finance,
you know, all of those integrations, you know, the financial reporting. So, you know, like again, you definitely want accurate sales data, but like, I don't know, I've not met a CRM that wasn't a bit of a Wild West. Like, that's not a
the implementation of the CRM. It's never just the out of the box thing. There's always customization and custom reports or custom processes that you have to implement around. And like all of these tools, they actually have built in, I don't know if you say local, but like people talk about like, customization, or you do configuration, right, of the
Yeah,
the
flows
actual
and different
funnel
ones.
for your business might be different than someone else's, and you might have another system that does, I don't know, the quotes. So like you have to enter the lead, and once it gets to a certain stage, then you have to integrate with another system. That's why I'm saying like it's really hard to replace it. I agree with you that some of this stuff is just core business that you want the system to be deterministic. The thing that I think is going to be a drive for change is that right now a lot of the agentic experiments that people are doing, especially in large enterprises. I was having this conversation with Tian Kai yesterday, our colleague. It's
Oh, nice.
automating the work around the work is how I put it. You know, like
Yeah.
you've got your core process. Let's say how you run your marketing, how you run your sales, and that might be running, let's say, Salesforce in your CRM, or maybe marketing is going through your. It could be like Marketing Cloud on Salesforce, or you've got other systems that set up your marketing campaign. And we're doing the automation of all the process that has been around those right now, where either to orchestration of humans and teams or spreadsheets that people pull out. So like all of that complexity that the system of record is not doing by itself, we've added that layer of teams and processes. Like if you walk around any company, right, like every department, they will have like a quote unquote ops team that's doing a lot of this admin and like data entry, data quality, data fixing. And that's the kind of work that is more easily to automate away and like put agents around it, because they can learn like, why do I need a team doing the data cleansing and then taking data out from here and then inputting on the other system. So like that more like basic level automation is where a lot of the experimentation is happening now. I don't know many people have got to the next level, actually use the agents to orchestrate the core process as well, which then you would require integrate with these APIs that will give you like the deterministic behavior for the things that you want to be deterministic. Those will be much harder to rip out. But we also hear like new startups like, oh, I'm not going to buy Salesforce. I'm just going to vibe code a very lightweight CRM and just manage my own. Like you build a custom thing that is going to be way more limited, but it serves the purpose for the business at the current stage. And because it's much easier to build software now, you just do that.
We've got one ourselves, no? Like,
yeah.
Because we wanted something, you know, for our tooling. You know, we want to be a bit more experiment driven rather than, you know, it's a sales motion because you need that feedback from people. But actually, a better fit was like that kind of product discovery. You know, what bets we're taking. You know, how well they're supported by the conversations that we're having, or not in some cases as well, which is like really great signal for the product development piece. You know, but it's like a, you know, and there are systems that do this sort of stuff, and you know, and you can also integrate them. But like, it was actually just way easier for one of our colleagues to put something together.
Just build in. I mean, I've been using that, and it's pretty good. Like we even build like skills that we can use to process meeting discussions and like validate again. So prepare for meetings or revisit stuff like whatever came up from this one compared to our previous hypothesis. Like, is there new signal that we picked, or that does this validate or invalidate what we had before? So yeah, to your point, it's not like CRM is not necessarily like a funnel at the scale of the sales process yet.
Right?
We do have our CRM, which eventually we'll have to integrate more closely, but it's way more early in the experimentation phase of like product and customer discovery. In that phase, like you said, there might be systems that do that as well, but we just vibe code and deployed something which is only used by our kind of sphere of team. So it's like, I don't know, 20 to 50 people max that's going to use that. It doesn't need the same level of like robustness and guarantees and stuff like that. Like if it goes down a little bit, fine, I can wait and redeploy and then use it again, right? So that kind of stuff is becoming easier and easier, and it solves some good problems, right? Like
that's it. So, it's like, actually, you don't want that heavyweight, you know, when you've got like a larger process, you need a bigger tractor engine of a tool. But you know, when you want to just spin up a lightweight process, it's really useful to be able to track it. And you know, the reality is that a lot of the time these were spreadsheets, right? Now it's way easier and nicer, and you can slice and dice the data much more effectively, weirdly, than in even Excel, right? Because it's all there, and all of this stuff, you can just put it together. It's for me, that's like, it's a very interesting one. The other one that we were so I know we've got some things to talk around as well, but just while we're on like internal Thoughtworks things that I thought were quite interesting as well was HTML for BI, and sort of seeing this like in LinkedIn and some people talking about it. I don't know if I can find. I'll find it in a bit, but basically.
It's a lot easier to build dashboards
and like custom ones with deep dives, not so again, dashboarding is kind of a solved problem to some degree, but like more unique visualizations are much more challenging in BI systems, and so for example, putting some projections and modeling into that, starts to be quite painful in a BI tool that's kind of locked down, right? So just being able to sort of show it, I think is quite interesting. So again, saw people talking around that in here you go. I did find it in the end. Right. Future of analytics. This is oh, it's not going to work. Brilliant. And I think it's quite an interesting one that it might well be. HTML, CSS, JavaScript produced by an LLM to answer a very single specific question.
Right. And for these kind of things, if you actually have the data product behind it,
exactly
you query to pull the data, then it's like, you quickly build a visualization that like is backed by some of the actual data that you pull from the system.
This is an interesting point, and actually some external data as well. So if you've got your curated data products, but actually you can sort of import some external data relatively easily in just HTML, so it's not actually touching your data or anything like that, and but just compare it in that dashboard and add bits to it. So I thought that was super interesting. And then like immediately after that, saw a version internally at Thoughtworks, which was like, okay, cool. So like we're doing this as well, which is quite cool. So we've got a few other pieces. So I mean, maybe
today's mostly interesting news that we picked up, right?
Yeah.
Was there any big announcement? Oh, this one was actually a good one from Anthropic.
Yeah. I thought this was quite interesting as well. We didn't cover that one too much before. So Claude for creative work.
So they announced design week before last, right? And then now they're announcing all this integration with a bunch of the design tooling that people use, right? Like Adobe, Blender. Blender is interesting, right? Because is more like game developers, and it's not just like application interfaces and UIs and websites and stuff like that. It's getting way more into.
Oh, right. Don't want to do that. But I think it's interesting, and I think here you go. He's more on the Blender piece.
Like 3D modeling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool in terms of like what you can do with this stuff now. It's getting better and better. I think I saw a really interesting talk by Andre Karpathy on some of these things, where it's basically like.
Was that the interview he gave to?
Oh, what's that? Sorry.
Was that an interview that he gave?
I
was watching that yesterday. It came out from the AI Ascent, exactly. I think. That was a good one.
Yeah, and he was talking around like, and again, it's the same idea of like the jagged intelligence.
Yeah.
But it does really well for things that are in the RL training set. And so when you see things like this, that's a really strong signal now that like, okay, cool, they've got an RL environment for this. They're building some stuff that sort of has an opportunity, like, it is effectively now going to be something that they're going to measure whether they're getting better at. And now for these sorts of use cases, Claude's going to be better. So operating within that makes a lot of sense to me. So you can kind of go, okay, cool, well, like if before I was doing this, then I would need to really fine tune my own model and build my own RL setup. And now this is going to be more accessible. I'm still not certain it's going to get to the point where it's commoditized in any of these areas, but like for a general purpose piece, I think people will start with this, and then if it's their daily driver, then yeah, they're probably going to be using the sort of one of the tools that mentioned with the integration, and then those integrations are going to get better and better. Okay, cool. Would you integrate the data into the HTML, or is it retrieving data from external sources? That's a good question. I think if you were worried about like that, you can just call out to the data from the JavaScript in the HTML. I think that would work pretty well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, a lot of this stuff, yeah, it's like you can share the HTML file. So, but in the dashboard, you don't have all of the data sets, right? Like it's already the aggregation from like an analysis perspective. So you do have data embedded, I guess, but to generate the report, I guess what I was thinking, right? Like you can do that by feeding the data itself. Like I've seen a bunch of this. It's like, oh, look at the spreadsheet and help me analyze it, or here's an export from a table. But like at that point, when the coding agent or someone is writing the dashboard, HTML dashboard, you could say use this data product, or like it's an MCP server that you connect to pull the data, and it will be a query. So it's like, yeah, not like extract the whole history of petabytes of data. It will be like, I'm trying to analyze the usage across the last 3 months or 3 quarters. How much was it? You would do the aggregation at the data warehouse, and then you get it's going to be a much smaller data set that it's okay to embed inside the HTML.
I've seen good examples of this from like BigQuery data sets where people have built stuff that's just calling that from the front end and using the open data set, which is like free and hosted as the back end. And and I mean, that's quite
a lot
nice.
of the BI players are building like agentic capabilities into their tools, like AI for BI kind of thing. Databricks has Genie, so it's kind of like, it's not just a build me a one-off, but it gives you like a chat interface. That the idea is like you could give it to a business user, and they would just ask a question, but it will know because it's plugged into Unity Catalog, for instance, like what the data is that it could query. So it's got some idea of the semantics as well. But you can do like the visualizations as well, right? So you get, in theory, you can do dashboard or even like a chart for the specific question you're trying to ask. Then it's now ask someone to build me a HTML thing. It's actually now a tool that you can expose to business users. That's Copilot for what's the Microsoft one? It just blanked out for me. That everybody uses for BI. Power BI, yeah, exactly. Power BI has that feature. Quick Sight on AWS. I'm sure BigQuery is adding things like that as well.
For sure.
Or Looker, right, which is the Google BI tool. So they're already aware of that, and they're trying to bake these features into their tool set so that you don't have to vibe code a dashboard on your own. Like it will be done within the tool itself. But yeah, the idea of like dashboards on demand, I guess, whether it's HTML or through these tools to answer specific questions, it's a interesting trend.
Yeah, for sure. This is some of my ex-colleagues from a previous startup, and they've built this thing, which is very cool. So again, like all backed like stuff in code, which is a really nice way of doing it. So I think a lot of this is the problem with maybe like a Power BI over like a Looker or another thing is like those are ephemeral. So yeah, having it stored as code. So HTML is probably a step towards the like low code, but it is still code. But I think that's super interesting. What was the other one you mentioned? I was going to bring them up. We had Databricks,
Genie.
Genie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Talk with your data. Yeah. AIBI is how they call it.
Yeah. Right. So pretty good, this stuff. And we've got some accelerators on Databricks as well for building data products to power these things as well. You know, and I think it's super interesting what's going on. Yeah, because there is that piece. So the only caveat I would say with this stuff is it needs to be repeatable. Otherwise, you end up with like massive amounts of misinterpretation. So like there needs to be like a lineage of these being created, how they've been created, so they could be interrogated later, right? So that when you share them with someone, you have that like, okay, cool. Well, like, yeah, actually, this if you refresh it, you'll see the updated data, and it, you know, it doesn't say what you thought it said, and all that sort of stuff.
I think that's the benefit of having a tool that's more like Genie, right? Like more supported, because you have to configure the Genie. I forgot what they call it, the room or the space, and then you connect which data is queryable for the room, for whom. And they use Unity Catalog, but the other important bit is this like semantic behind it, right? Like what is the AI gonna query to figure out? Because like if you have 50 tables that has sales data on it, then which one is the right one to use to find the reports? Like that problem still exists as well.
And the governance as well, right? You know, again, if you've got if you make one of these things on employee salaries and you share it and you don't have SSO linked to the permissions of the data set, you know, then you're going to have a not fun time. You know, someone may share it externally. Even worse, rather than having internal mutiny, you may have recruiters just coming along and offering precisely £5,000 more than your current staff are on, and like, okay, cool, like, yeah. Lovely little shopping list. So yeah, you don't want that. But yeah, so there was another one from Anthropic we didn't really get to last time, which was quite interesting. So there's this idea of like agent marketplaces, two-sided agent marketplaces. So yeah, basically, yeah, you've got Michaela and Shai's agent negotiating, and yeah, talking around like, okay, cool, like how well can you so yeah, basically recruited a number of Anthropic employees, gave them each $100 budget, and to actually kind of like barter for goods that they wanted to get rid of. You know, and what was really interesting with this, so this site is really annoying. Okay, cool. Participants met up and swapped their items.
Yeah, that was part of the experiment setup. Is like you actually must have the goods that you were gonna put in the marketplace, because at the end, when it's all settled, you actually have to exchange them.
Yeah, and so then they've got these different versions: Opus only, Opus and Haiku.
Yeah, that's the bit that they didn't tell the participants actually on the setup for the experiment. Behind the scenes, some of the agents were given different versions of the model and see which one does better in the negotiation, right?
So yeah, 4 parallel Slack channels, and I think that then they interacted as well. So yeah, you can see here you've got Opus chatting to Haiku, chatting to Opus. This is a right. So then they compare the runs, and yeah, like tips Dusty Hat. Yeah, okay, cool. And then yeah, so you've got this different you know, like conversation going on. So what happened was that Opus, here you go. When an item was sold by Opus instead of Haiku, it went for $3.64 more on average. And so a lab-grown ruby was sold by Opus for 65, but only 35 by Haiku. So yeah, so it's interesting to see that. Yep, like same folding bike, same buyer, same seller. Haiku sold for 38, Opus got 65.
Yeah, so more capable models, better negotiating.
Which is super interesting.
Yeah.
When an Opus seller was paired with a Haiku buyer, the average transaction price was 24 rather than 18. So the difference was actually most pronounced in just when the models were mismatched. So again, it's probably a really good, one of the things if everyone's Nemo clawing, open clawing, whatever, like one of the things that's always been said is like, don't have a low powered agent to power this stuff because they get tricked so much more easily. And that's the reality, right? Yeah. So another funny one, this chap bought exactly the snowboard that he'd already bought off a colleague because it knew him well enough. So yeah. And okay, cool. Like this was the ping pongs. Bought them its own like present. So yeah, some interesting things going on. The 19 ping pong balls that Claude cloned for itself. So yeah, like very interesting. And I think there's some other stuff. Yeah, so these are gonna be quite interesting, like in a bit more readable format.
Right.
And yeah, like some of the actual experiment design, timeline and whatnot. So you can see a little bit more rigor going in than the HTML that we were looking at. But yeah, like some fascinating ideas there. I've myself have seen a lot of these proposals in like the talent space, for example. You have your own agent, like a Hollywood agent that goes and tries and finds you a job.
Like your manager.
Yeah, your manager. And then yeah, you can see this happening in well, yeah, like eBay or any of these other like marketplaces that are more modern, like Facebook Marketplace, even more modern than that. But you know what I mean. I don't do a lot of that, but for any sort of two-sided marketplace, it'd be very interesting to see, this happen. And there's probably here going to be like a problem in that, like, if you pay premium for a premium model, you'll get a better outcome price wise. And so it's kind of like a false economy in some ways if you're going to engage in this kind of stuff. To get a cheaper, faster model, you need a slower but more robust model, and that's going to get you a better response. So quite interesting. Again, I don't think any of these models are tuned for this, so it'd be interesting to also see if you could have that. And again, like, then you've got this idea of like fairness and like information asymmetry and all sorts of very interesting things that could go into these kind of like agent marketplaces, like an actual agent marketplace, not just a list of prompts people have put together.
Very cool. We talked about the vending thing and like the shop that they open as well. So like we're starting to see more of this. Like this was an internal experiment within Anthropic with employees. But that is probably something that we're going to see and hear more and more about real life experiments of.
Yeah. And this is still like, this is the quite exciting thing in some ways. This is super early. It's like, whenever you're like, oh man, like so much in AI is happening. It's like, we're like really at the beginning of this stuff. And that's the thing I find quite exciting.
I agree.
Well, yeah. So before we move off then, one little bit of negative from Anthropic, which was this. So there's someone has reverse engineered, and actually this reproduction is really interesting. So basically you don't even need the Hermes.md file, but
you just need to reference Hermes.
Yeah, if you reference it in a Git commit, Claude Code picks it up and routes you to extra credit, right? So the idea here is that Anthropic are clamping down on people going against their terms of service, to be fair, and using their plans to drive coding agents like OpenClaw, like Hermes. And yeah, what they're finding is that, you know, they're basically saying, okay, cool, well, you can do it, but you're going off the plan and into
So you have
additional
to pay
extra credit usage. And so yeah, like it's just clear this detection isn't like going very well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
this is
saw Boris commented on this issue to say like, oh, this was an overly abusive. It's actually just below that GIF there. Yeah. It's too small. I can't read it.
Oh, this is
Thanks for reporting. Yeah, this was an overactive anti-abuse system fixed. And then people like, can you refund the guy now as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting. I don't know if you commented about that because it's a few weeks old now. Maybe it's the week that I wasn't here. But like Anthropic did announce some changes to their plans, right? Like they lower the flat fee for enterprise, but then shift a lot of that towards like API or extra usage stuff, which for power users or like coding agent hungry, token hungry agents, that will probably mean like the bill is going to increase. For lightweight users, it might be seen as a good thing because you get cheaper monthly plans for people that are not using a lot. But yeah, if you keep hitting the limits or you're using Claude for the coding, Claude Code, and even co-work like uses a lot, it's kind of code but for other things. It could increase the monthly bill. So there was a bit of backlash from that as well.
Yeah. I think, I mean, they're having real they're having real. Okay, what is this? This is this is the actual response from them before Boris got involved.
I mean, they have agents that do the customer support as well. I don't know if you're trying that. Like, it's really hard to actually talk to a human, so this kind of stuff does not surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is basically like it's ironic that an anti-abuse system is itself abusive in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's abusive in a different way, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, look, this stuff's interesting, and like, yeah, I mean, I think that what's clear is that the consumers want these fixed price pieces, and like, there's a power law distribution of who uses this stuff, and using it in one of these agents. Like, again, I remember Gastown turning it on and then being like, oh, I have no tokens left. You know, so
with multiple Cloud API key subscriptions.
Yeah, just like, oh my God. So it's clear that this is like still a very good deal that maybe not everyone is taking advantage of. And, you know, certainly they're clamping down on anyone who's like, you know, well, this is an overreach, but anyone who's using it like against their new terms of service, which say, you know, you can only use it with Claude Code or Claude Desktop or Claude in the browser and nothing else, which makes sense, right? It's a cheaper price. You can take that for some.
But yeah, it definitely hints around like maybe the price point is not reflective of how much it costs them to offer that service, right? Like if they have either don't have enough capacity to serve all of that, so they'll try to control demand by increasing the price, or the price is being heavily subsidized so that they can bring customers and acquire people.
For me, I think it's more just you're hitting only the power users who are definitely unprofitable by doing this. So you're going to have a power law distribution of users, and those top 1, 5, 10%, they're going to be the ones who've been hacking around it to get into Hermes, to get into these like always on agents that have like heartbeats and, you know, like get revived all the time and get them to do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Like, they're going to be the ones running up the massive bills. And so they're going to be the ones that you, that are your, you know, not profitable customers. So if you, rather than changing the pricing or changing anything, you just change the distribution by removing those outcomes, then suddenly you're like, okay, cool, golden, like this is feasible for everyone else.
Yeah,
So I'm
and
not
if they do want to use all of that, they just pay more, and then that kind of
yeah, exactly. You know, and like, I mean, like I did say, you want the powerful models because it will get you the better response and whatnot. But like, yeah, maybe if you're not having it negotiate prices on your behalf, then actually, yeah, I think you can now. Like I've been using Claude 3.6 locally, and it's like really fast and like pretty good. So again, I've not got Hermes or Thingamajig set up, OpenClaw set up, but yeah, like for a local coding agent with Pi, it's actually pretty awesome. So yeah. Oh, nice. One from Dean. Dean, did you see the changes in Copilot pricing to start June 1st? The changes for annual subscribers are eye-watering. Opus 4.7's multipliers going from 7.5 to 27. No, I did not. This is
Copilot or GitHub Copilot. Yeah, they announced that this week as well. I don't know if we picked that up, but last week we said they paused new subscriptions because they're trying to control things, and then this week they did announce breaking news. It's not that breaking news.
No, what I want to do is wait. Let's see if we get this done.
Yeah, it's a good point though, given the
Hey, I agree, Dean. I agree. Yeah. So, yeah, was this recent?
I mean, it's
Okay.
just the pricing page, but they do have a temporary and available because they paused new. So this is probably the old one. Go to, let me see if I can find that. Or maybe Dean has the announcement.
Okay, no, here you go. Here you go. I found it. I think this is it. GitHub Copilot is used to usage-based billing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was the same thing, right? Anthropic moved to usage-based. Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar move.
Code
I mean,
completion.
GitHub has been facing issues as well with availability. Same with Claude. Someone shared yesterday, but it's like I don't even look anymore. But my joke now is like 2 nines is a luxury in these days now in availability. You see 98% quite often now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, that's an interesting one. This was one I didn't like call out, but yeah. So, Mitchell Hashimoto, founder of HashiCorp, Terraform creator, and most recently, like my
Vagrant as
terminal, my
well. He
daily
was the
terminal.
original guy who created Vagrant, even before HashiCorp and Terraform.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And Vault and others. Like,
Vault, yeah.
but yeah, so Ghosty is leaving GitHub.
Ghosty, yeah, that's his current,
his terminal. So yeah,
he's
so
leaving GitHub. Oh, I missed that one.
so he's GitHub user 1299, which is kind of insane when you think about it. Dean, I'm glad you like that. I'll take the banner off now. Like, but yeah, if you want more banners, just let me know. I'm having fun playing with this. But yeah,
you can see live production here. We cook the food and eat at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so you're like, yeah, first thing, like wanted to join GitHub, so it's a bit of a love letter to GitHub, but also like this is just not going well, basically. So like I don't know if we want to look at the GitHub status page. Yeah, I mean, this is still going on. Incomplete pull requests in repositories. So there was also something the other day around like it not actually running Git, like silently dropping commits, which didn't turn up as like an incident, but was for sure an incident. So I mean, yeah, they're still saying 2 nines, but like yeah, and to be fair to them, there is a huge. They are getting hammered with agentic coding, so it's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
it's not business as usual. But I feel like they should be like this sort of thing does feel like what, like, why is this happening?
I
Like,
sent you a link now, Ben, if you can pull that
all right.
up. Someone scraped the historical data here, and it shows the history of GitHub's availability. And someone made a joke. I saw that in a joke post. There's like, oh, since Microsoft acquisition, but like, I think you're right. It's because of like the rise of agentic coding.
Yeah. So this is Microsoft acquires GitHub, right? But actually, and like, again, like, we love charts. You can do chart crimes. Like, this isn't like, this makes it look
99
very,
is still there, quite, yeah. And they made it red, anything under whatever the 3 nines.
so this is 3 nines,
Yeah.
and 3 nines is like pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these are okay, but there are definitely drops here.
Yeah, but like this is true 9 still, right? It's 99%.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's just that, again, Git is very much a standard, right? Like, you want it to be, it's where you're storing your IP, right? You don't want it, you want it to be pretty stable. You want it to be very secure. You want it to be up. You don't want to lose.
Not just that, it's also like with all the security stuff, like if you have to patch stuff, like you want to have to update the code and like run the build and deploy things very quickly. That's business critical, right? Like
I mean, that makes me want to bring up what we've been having to update frequently.
Oh, I know exactly what you're looking at.
Let me open it in a sec.
Light LLM.
Yeah, you knew where it's coming.
Yeah.
Like another one, SQL injection. Like, I don't know, like SQL injection, that's a linter, right? Like, yeah, for me, that's should be simple to detect. So, again, released like, this is an open source project, right? Like, so I believe, so like, I think they do have a like, it's like, there's a product as well. Yeah. Okay, cool. So there's a company behind it, but the open source version is provided free, right?
Yeah.
So, it's difficult to say, oh, you guys should do a better job. But also, I'm sort of surprised. I don't know if we went in and saw what they're actually doing in terms of, do they have any pre-commit hooks or things that they run on this stuff? Like Rough will pick up SQL injection in Python. So I'm presuming it's in the front end that they're, where'd it go? Did I get rid of it?
I don't know. You had too many tabs.
Yeah, too many tabs. But yeah, I mean, classic problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Like LLM. Okay, no login. Okay, yeah. So it must be the front end then, right?
Yeah, I didn't read the whole details. I was just working on the patching.
Yeah. Because it manages AI routing. Okay, cool. Pre-authentication SQL injection vulnerability. Yeah, maybe we could just see this. But yeah, again, another one that we've had to bump, and yeah, like, it's fine, it's okay, but it's like, I think you were saying, right, there's just so much of this that's happening in open source now.
Exactly, it's gonna be more and more prevalent, I think, these kinds of things. And something like Light LLM is also like, because a lot of people use it, it becomes a higher value target. I don't think it's as simple as like, oh, just use another gateway. Because
No,
yeah, Dean's
it's quite
point
a critical
about
bit of infrastructure, right?
right, yeah, critical infrastructure.
Dean made a good point as well that Claude's uptime status is already it's not all green as well. For me, I'm also like, in some ways, I like that this is now much better reported, right?
Yeah.
But there's also this idea of like, well, actually, was it always like this? And now we're just much more aware of it. Or has everything gone to crap because of, AI, which I also don't think. For me, like,
yeah,
you're still an engineer, you've still got these responsibilities, like it's still on you to check these things. Each one of these reds is like a new check that should be added to your CI/CD.
I agree.
And yeah.
But to be fair, like I just sent the link for the OpenAI one. They also have like a issue happening now. It's like part of this, I think, is just the pace of how things are changing and how fast they're pushing updates as well, right? Like it comes, and a lot of this, like they're all claiming writing 100% of code with agent and stuff like that. They do have the humans in the process there, but like if the code and the speed at which the code is being generated is much fast, like you can't expect a human will pick up all of these potential problems and things that fall between the cracks. That you can see, like ChatGPT is warning now, right? It's.
I mean, I suppose in some ways, this FedRAMP looks to be significantly better.
Yeah, but what's FedRAMP is what they do for the federal government, I guess.
Yeah. So I presume this is delayed a week or something like that, at least, so that any of these issues come out here and then they get fixed and onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So they probably have a separate instance or a whole.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it'll be completely isolated. Has to be.
Yeah, so it's not stuff that's at the same level of usage as well either. Like public ChatGPT that's got all of the users is facing.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like again, nice to see this as well. So Incident.io also have some really cool stuff around this, like incident management, AI, SRE, to kind of give you that like time to recovery stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so
I mean, yeah, that's what's gonna happen, right? Like same, like we say GitHub and builds increasing. There's gonna be way more like how do we use AI now for security, vulnerability detection, like patching and being more proactive on this. So it's like it's speeding up at every entry point, I guess.
Absolutely. Nice.
Cool.
Well, we went a long way down there. We've still got 2 or 3 more of these to do. So I'll see if we can get through them. If we don't, again, we talk about what we want. So sorry. This was an interesting one. So again, clearly AI written as well. But Monday.com have been like a year now, about a year ago, it says, where they've put in their own AI agent within their legacy, one of their legacy code bases, apparently. And so quite interesting, like in terms of like has a migration flow, picked up board tickets and run a 9-step pipeline, right? Again, dependency analysis, target determination, AST parsing. I don't know why. I think like I would probably do that before those, because it kind of gives you those things. AI analysis, file migration, compilation fixing, test conversion, code review, and cleanup. Yeah. So again, like ordering of these, I would maybe challenge, in terms of what's the most optimal setup. But each step has its own set of allowed tools. So no bash commands during the review step, that sort of thing. Up to 3 retries, that sort of thing. Open a PR. Like, yeah, sounds interesting.
How they set up their software delivery.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit more proactive as well. I think this is one of the things that where we're seeing like, again, like a lot of the agents that get deployed are like very reactive. They wait for a trigger. This is something that runs on a cron. So again, I mean, it's still a trigger. It's just a time-based trigger, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's proactively going and finding work that it can do and doing that. I mean, interestingly, like it sounds like it's single threaded, right? Because you've got basically one agent or one workflow executing and picking up work and not assigning it to different things. So yeah, like I think much more reasonable. But yeah, some interesting thoughts there.
Cool.
This was something that was shared with by our colleague Seb, who is still working, even though he's got but when he's on leave shortly, right?
Yeah,
But
he shouldn't be working. We shouldn't show his stuff.
we love you, Seb. But yeah, so this goes through and has a look and preserves your Claude Code session data, token usage, and cost history, and that sort of thing. So you can see the like where you're spending things, how you're spending it, that sort of thing. I think it's one of the nice things I've said about Claude Code is it's like kind of local first. So they do put a lot of data in your .claude file, which you can go and have a look at. But of course, they have to clean it up at some point because otherwise it would just monotonically increase forever. So yeah, again, I've not used this, not necessarily endorsing that you just download everything you see on the internet, but some of our colleagues finding some benefits with it, and interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, this sort of stuff is going to be endemic, like so very much vibe coded ransomware, and yeah, like kind of seems kind of crazy, but no, it's never been easier than anyone to build these sorts of things. And again, you probably don't care too much about reliability if your plan is to cause damage. So like good to call that out as something that's happening, and yeah, make sure that you're not just downloading everything. This was probably the big news that we probably should have covered right at the top, actually. So AWS getting OpenAI models, and the partnership, like again, this is all very positive. But Microsoft will continue to have the license for OpenAI IP for models, but it's now non-exclusive.
It's not exclusive, yeah.
And Microsoft will no longer pay a revenue share to OpenAI.
I mean, they had that weird clause about like if we achieved AGI, then something happens. I think they got rid of that as well because that was a bit of a contentious way to how we're gonna agree on whether we achieved AGI or not.
Yeah, the vibes were crazy early on, eh?
Yeah. But it's good. Yeah, I mean, OpenAI has been trying to, I guess, like not be only with Microsoft. And as soon as the Microsoft thing was announced, this AWS deal as well was, I don't know, same day or the next day. It was quite
so
closely timed.
27th, 29th.
Yeah. And like now through Bedrock, you can access OpenAI models, right? Which was one of the things you couldn't do before.
Which, again, like is massive. AWS obviously being the absolute 900-pound gorilla of hyperscalers. And yeah, this final one I thought was really fun as well. So obviously we posted our radar a few weeks ago, and this is Typer, and Sebastian, creator of Typer, Fast API, etc., has given us a little shout out, which I thought was awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, I wanted to sort of end on that happy note. That for us, this is something that's like a really cool piece of kit, and CLIs for AI, like exactly how it's been how I've been building CLIs for 18
like
months. So.
People got TUI, right, like terminal user interface, but it's CLI and let the agent talk to the tool through the console.
Yeah. So yeah, really cool. And yeah, like this is again really cool little hack with UV. So you can distribute this really easily. So you can basically say like pass an argument here, and then like run install. Okay, I was expecting this to have. So yeah, you can run and package Python modules really easily with UV, but yeah, I was expecting this to have a specific example. Yeah, it just
How do you
allows you to
install
like
it?
really quickly do it.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome.
We managed to cover most of it again, so
Yeah, I think so. It was great. Yeah, really good week and
a less model heavy week, but lots of stuff still happening.
yeah, absolutely.
We
Yeah, and some really
haven't run out of topics yet.
No, no. I don't suspect we will. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for commenting as well. Really appreciate it. Dean, Fabian, as awesome as always. Please, more comments is more fun. We even had a bit of fun with the with some of the things that we can put on the screen. But yeah, hope everyone has a cracking week, and yeah, see you next week.
See you next week then. Cheers.
Ciao for now.